Good morning, everyone. There is a wisdom in the world that teaches us to rise even when we have been knocked down. A wisdom that tells us our pain does not define us, but our ability to stand again does. Life is not always kind, and struggle is not an occasional visitor. It is a constant companion. But resilience is the bridge between hardship and triumph. It is not about avoiding the storms, but learning to dance in the rain. The journey to a resilient mindset begins with understanding that failure is not the end of the road. It is merely a lesson, a stepping stone toward growth. When you fall, do not stay down. Rise with more wisdom, more strength, and more courage than before. You must also refuse to let fear control you. Fear whispers that you are not strong enough, not worthy enough, not capable enough. But fear is a liar. Do not let it dictate your actions. Speak courage into your soul, even when your voice shakes. Resilience is also built in the way we speak to ourselves. If you call yourself weak, you will feel weak. If you remind yourself of your strength, you will become unbreakable. Speak love, confidence, and power into your own life. And let us not forget the power of purpose. When you know why you rise, you will always find a way to rise. Purpose fuels resilience because it reminds us that our struggles are not in vain. It teaches us that every tear, every setback, every scar carries meaning. Life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. We make plans, set goals, and dream of smooth paths ahead, only to find ourselves face down in the dirt when things don't go as planned. Failure, disappointment, and heartbreak come in many forms. Losing a job, facing rejection, enduring a loss, or simply feeling like we're not good enough. In those moments, it is easy to feel defeated, to believe that maybe we weren't meant to succeed after all. But that is where resilience comes in. To rise after every fall is to understand that failure is not final, nor does it define who we are. It is merely a chapter in our story, not the whole book. The greatest people in history, the ones who have changed the world, all have something in common. They fell, but they refused to stay down. They faced struggles, but they used those struggles as stepping stones to something greater. Think about a child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall again and again, yet they never stop trying. Why? Because they have not yet learned to fear failure. They instinctively understand that falling is part of the process. Imagine if a child gave up after the first few falls. None of us would be walking today. As we grow older, we begin to associate failure with shame. We start to believe that if we fall, it must mean we are not capable or worthy. But that is not the truth. Falling means we are trying. Falling means we are pushing our limits, stepping beyond our comfort zones, and daring to reach for something greater. Every fall is an opportunity to rise stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the road ahead. Rising after a fall does not mean ignoring the pain. It is okay to feel disappointed, to acknowledge the hurt, and to take time to heal. But what is not okay is allowing that pain to paralyze you. The world will not stop moving, and neither should you. Cry if you must, rest if you need to, but then stand up, dust yourself off, and move forward. There will be times when the fall feels too heavy, when you feel like you have nothing left in you to rise again. In those moments, remind yourself why you started in the first place. Remember your strength, your dreams, and the people who believe in you. Lean on those who support you, and most importantly, believe in yourself. Strength is not found in never falling. It is found in getting up every single time you do. No matter how many times life knocks you down, promise yourself this: you will rise again. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions we experience. It has the ability to paralyze us, to make us doubt ourselves, and to convince us that we are not strong enough, smart enough, or worthy enough to succeed. Fear whispers lies in our ears, telling us to stay where it's safe, to avoid taking risks, and to never step outside of our comfort zones. But fear is not truth. Fear is a trick of the mind, a roadblock designed to keep us from reaching our full potential. Every single person on this earth has felt fear. It is a natural part of being human. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to move forward despite fear. The people we admire, the ones who have changed the world, who have created, built, and achieved great things, were all afraid at some point, but they did not let fear define them. They felt the fear and pushed forward anyway. Fear often comes from the unknown. We are afraid of what we cannot see, what we do not understand, and what we cannot control. But think about this. Every great achievement in your life happened because you pushed through fear. The first time you rode a bicycle, the first time you spoke in front of a crowd, the first time you started a new job or pursued a dream. You were afraid, but you did it anyway, and because of that, you grew. Fear does not mean you are weak. It means you are standing at the edge of something important. It means you are about to do something that matters. Instead of letting fear control you, learn to see it as a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Growth does not happen in comfort. It happens when we step into the unknown, when we challenge ourselves to rise above our doubts. So how do we overcome fear? The first step is to acknowledge it. Do not pretend you are not afraid. Say it out loud. I am afraid, but I will not let this stop me. Name your fear, understand it, and then remind yourself that you have faced challenges before. Next, take action. Fear loses its power the moment you take a step forward. It does not have to be a big step. Just one small action can weaken fear's grip on you. If you are afraid to speak up, start by saying one sentence. If you are afraid to chase your dreams, take one small step toward them. The more you act, the more you realize that fear is nothing more than an illusion. Most importantly, replace fear with faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your strength. Faith that even if things do not go as planned, you will still find a way. Because the truth is, you are stronger than you think. You have survived every difficult moment in your life so far, and you will survive this too. Fear does not define you. Your courage does. Your resilience does. Your willingness to rise, to fight, to keep going, that is who you are. So the next time fear tries to tell you that you are not good enough, not strong enough, not ready enough, stand tall, take a deep breath, and prove it wrong. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Your inner voice, the way you speak to yourself in your mind, shapes your confidence, your choices, and ultimately your destiny. It is the difference between standing up after failure or staying down. It is the difference between believing in your potential or settling for less than you deserve. If you want to build resilience, if you want to succeed in life, you must learn to master your inner voice. Too often, we are our own worst critics. We speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to a friend. We say things like, I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. I always mess things up. Imagine telling those words to someone you love, your child, your best friend, your sibling. You wouldn't. So why say them to yourself? Your mind believes what you tell it. If you constantly feed it negativity, it will begin to accept those thoughts as truth. But if you replace those negative thoughts with words of encouragement, your mind will start to believe in your strength instead of your weakness. Think about elite athletes. Before they compete, they do not sit around telling themselves, I'm probably going to lose. No, they train their minds as much as they train their bodies. They visualize success. They repeat affirmations. They tell themselves, I am strong. I am capable. I will win. And that mindset gives them the power to perform at their highest level. Now imagine if you did the same in your own life. Imagine replacing thoughts of doubt with thoughts of confidence. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can figure this out. Instead of saying, I always fail, say, every setback is teaching me something valuable. Instead of saying, I am not good enough, say, I am growing and improving every day. Mastering your inner voice does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to be your own biggest supporter instead of your worst enemy. It means recognizing that thoughts are powerful, but they are also controllable. You have the ability to challenge and change the way you think. One of the best ways to master your inner voice is through awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts. When you notice yourself thinking negatively, stop and ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is it based on facts or just fear? Then reframe it. Turn it into something constructive. Another strategy is to speak words of encouragement to yourself out loud. When you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, I am capable, I am worthy, I will make today count. At first it might feel strange, but over time, your mind will absorb those words as truth. Surround yourself with positivity. The people you listen to, the books you read, the content you consume, all of it influences your inner voice. Choose to fill your mind with words that uplift and inspire you. Most importantly, be patient with yourself. Changing your inner voice is not an overnight process. It takes time, practice, and commitment. But every time you choose a positive thought over a negative one, you are taking control of your mindset. Your inner voice can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The choice is yours. Pain is one of life's greatest teachers. It is uncomfortable, sometimes unbearable, and often arrives uninvited. No one wakes up hoping for hardship. No one asks for heartbreak, failure, or loss. And yet pain is inevitable. It touches everyone, no matter how strong, successful, or kind they are. But here's the truth. Pain is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to shape you, refine you, and awaken something deeper within you. If you can find purpose in your pain, you will transform it from something that weakens you into something that empowers you. Pain often feels unfair, and in many ways it is. Losing a loved one, facing betrayal, struggling with rejection, these moments can shake us to our core. We wonder, why me? What did I do to deserve this? But instead of asking why, ask what. What can this pain teach me? What strength can I develop from this experience? What lesson is hidden inside this hardship? History is filled with people who turned their pain into purpose. People who suffered unimaginable losses, but used their experience to help others. Survivors who became advocates. Wounded hearts that became healers, and those who struggled who later became teachers. The most inspiring people in the world are not the ones who have never faced hardship, but the ones who took their pain and used it to create something meaningful. Pain teaches us resilience. It forces us to dig deep and discover strength we never knew we had. Have you ever gone through something so difficult that you thought you would never recover? But somehow you did. You survived. And even though the scars remain, you are stronger now. That is the power of pain. It breaks us down. But you know what it feels like to be lost, to be afraid, to be broken. And because of that, you become more compassionate. You learn how to listen, how to comfort, how to be present for others in their darkest moments. Your pain allows you to connect with people in a way that only shared struggle can. But perhaps most importantly, pain gives us direction. Some of the greatest movements in history were born from suffering. People who faced injustice turned their pain into activism. Those who experienced loss turned their pain into a mission to help others heal. Some of the best artists, writers, and creators poured their pain into their work, giving the world something beautiful out of their suffering. So, how do we find purpose in pain? First, we must allow ourselves to feel it. Numbing or ignoring pain does not make it go away. We must face it, acknowledge it, and sit with it for a while. Then we must look for the lesson. Every hardship carries wisdom, whether it is patience, strength, gratitude, or a deeper understanding of ourselves. Next, we must use our pain to grow. Instead of letting it define us as victims, we must let it shape us into warriors. Pain should not close our hearts, it should expand them. It should not make us bitter, it should make us better. Finally, we must find a way to turn our pain into something meaningful. Maybe that means helping others who are going through a similar struggle. Maybe it means using our experience to fuel our passions. Maybe it simply means being a living example of someone who has been through darkness and still chooses to shine. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. What we do with our pain is up to us. We can let it defeat us, or we can let it transform us. We can let it break us, or we can use it to build something greater. Your pain has a purpose. Find it, use it, and watch how it turns you into the strongest version of yourself. Change and challenges are two of the most difficult yet necessary parts of life. They come when we least expect them, disrupting our comfort, forcing us to adapt, and pushing us into the unknown. Many people resist change, clinging to the familiar even when it no longer serves them. Many fear challenges, avoiding discomfort because they believe they are not strong enough to handle it. But here's the truth. Growth does not happen without change, and strength is never built without challenge. If you want to develop resilience, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you must learn to embrace both. Change is inevitable. No matter how much we try to control life, things will shift. People come and go, careers evolve, dreams take different shapes, and circumstances transform. Some changes are welcome, like a new opportunity or a positive life event. Others are painful, like losing a loved one, facing an unexpected setback, or having to start over when we thought we had it all figured out. But whether good or bad, change is necessary for progress. Without it, we remain stagnant, repeating the same patterns, never growing, never evolving. Think about nature. A tree does not resist the changing seasons. It sheds its leaves in the fall, survives the cold winter, and blooms again in the spring. The river does not fight against the rocks in its path. It flows around them, reshaping itself as it moves forward. Life is the same way. The more we resist change, the more we suffer. The more we accept and adapt to change, the more we grow. Challenges, like change, are also unavoidable. Life will test you. You will face obstacles that seem impossible to overcome. You will struggle, fail, and feel moments of doubt. But challenges are not meant to break you, they are meant to build you. Every challenge you overcome adds to your strength. Every difficulty you face prepares you for the next stage of your journey. Think about any great achievement in history. Behind every success story is a person who faced challenges and refused to give up. Athletes train through exhaustion. Entrepreneurs risk failure over and over before succeeding. Artists create despite criticism. Every person who has accomplished something great has faced moments where they wanted to quit, but they didn't. They embraced the challenge knowing that struggle is part of the process. Instead of seeing change as something to fear, see it as an opportunity. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, see them as lessons. Every difficult situation carries something valuable, a new skill, a new perspective, or a new path. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? When you look at life this way, even the hardest changes and challenges become stepping stones instead of roadblocks. Many times we resist change because we are afraid of losing what is familiar. But not everything we hold on to is meant to stay. Sometimes the job you lose is clearing the way for something better. Sometimes the relationship that ends is making room for one that will truly fulfill you. Holding on to what no longer serves you only delays your growth. Trust that letting go is part of moving forward. Challenges are not meant to be easy, but they are meant to be overcome. When things get hard, remind yourself of past difficulties you have conquered. You have survived tough moments before, and you will survive this too. Strength is not something you are born with. It is something you build through every struggle you face. Change can be uncomfortable, but it also brings new opportunities. Some of the greatest things in life happen because of unexpected changes. Stay open to the idea that what feels like an ending might actually be a beginning. When faced with a big change or a difficult challenge, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But resilience is not built in a single moment. It is built step by step. You don't have to have everything figured out right away. Just focus on taking the next step forward, no matter how small. At the end of the day, life is always moving, always changing, always challenging us to grow. You can either fight it and stay stuck, or you can embrace it and evolve. The choice is yours. Embrace change, welcome challenges, and trust that every shift, every struggle, every moment of discomfort is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more powerful than before. Life is unpredictable. It will test you, break you, and challenge you in ways you never expected. There will be moments when you feel like you have nothing left, when everything seems to be falling apart, and when giving up feels easier than pushing forward. But in those moments, you must remember one thing. Resilience is a choice. It is not something you are simply born with or without. It is not reserved for the strongest, the smartest, or the luckiest. It is a decision you make every single day to keep going despite the obstacles in your way. Resilience is not about avoiding pain, failure, or hardship. It is about facing them head on and refusing to let them define you. It is about standing up after every fall, learning from every setback, and growing stronger with every challenge. The most successful people in the world are not those who never struggled. They are those who chose to keep moving forward despite their struggles. But how do we develop resilience? How do we make the choice to keep going when everything around us is telling us to stop? Many people see hardship as a sign that they are failing, but in reality, struggle is a part of growth. No one becomes strong without resistance. No tree grows deep roots without strong winds. No athlete builds endurance without pushing through exhaustion. Struggles are not roadblocks. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me, ask, what is this teaching me? Every challenge carries a lesson. Find it, embrace it, and let it guide you forward. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. We cannot control every hardship that comes our way, but we can control how we respond. Resilience is about accepting that pain is a part of life, but refusing to let it consume us. It is about feeling the hurt, acknowledging the loss, but still finding a way to move forward. Just like physical strength is built through exercise, mental strength is built through practice. Every time you choose to push through a challenge instead of giving up, you are strengthening your resilience. Every time you choose to look for the positive instead of focusing on the negative, you are training your mind to be stronger. Resilience is a skill that grows with use. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Who you spend time with influences your mindset. If you are surrounded by negativity, doubt, and fear, it will be harder to stay resilient. But if you surround yourself with people who lift you up, who remind you of your strength, and who inspire you to keep going, resilience becomes easier. Choose to be around those who encourage you, who believe in you, and who remind you that you are capable of overcoming anything. One of the biggest obstacles to resilience is focusing on things beyond our control. We cannot always control what happens to us, but we can control how we react. Instead of wasting energy worrying about what you cannot change, focus on what you can change. Focus on your attitude, your actions, and your mindset. The more control you take over your response, the stronger you become. Resilience is not about being fearless. It is not about having all the answers. It is about taking one step forward, even when the road ahead is unclear, even when you are scared, even when you are tired, even when you doubt yourself. The key is to keep going. Some days it might feel like you are only making small progress, but progress is progress. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. The most resilient people do not just survive hardships. They find meaning in them. They use their struggles to help others, to become wiser, and to build a better future. When you go through difficult times, ask yourself, how can I use this experience for good? Maybe your struggles will make you more compassionate. Maybe they will give you the strength to help someone else going through the same thing. When you turn your pain into purpose, resilience becomes easier. At the core of resilience is self-belief. You must believe that you are capable of overcoming anything. You must remind yourself that you have faced challenges before and survived them, and you must choose again and again to trust in your strength. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when fear tells you that you are not strong enough. In those moments, stand tall and say, I will not give up. I will keep going. I am stronger than I think. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. To let life's challenges break you or to let them build you. Resilience is not a one-time decision. It is a choice you make every day, in every situation, to keep pushing forward. Some days will be harder than others, but as long as you keep going, you are winning. No matter what life throws at you, no matter how many times you fall, remember this: you have the power to rise again. You have the strength to keep going. You have the choice to be resilient. Choose resilience every single day. Resilience is not something we are born with. It is something we build. It is a choice we make every single day. Life will challenge us. It will throw obstacles in our path, test our strength, and push us to our limits. But no matter how many times we fall, no matter how difficult the journey becomes, we have the power to rise again. To build a resilient mindset, we must rise after every fall, knowing that failure is not the end, but a lesson in disguise. We must understand that fear does not define us, and though fear may whisper doubts in our ears, we have the power to choose courage instead. We must master our inner voice, replacing self-doubt with self-belief, negativity with encouragement, and fear with determination. We must find purpose in our pain, understanding that even our hardest moments can shape us into something greater. We must embrace change and challenges, realizing that they are not meant to break us, but to transform us into stronger, wiser, and more capable versions of ourselves. And above all, we must remember that resilience is a choice to keep going, to keep believing, and to never give up, no matter how hard the road ahead may seem. Your struggles do not define you. Your failures do not define you. Your pain does not define you. What defines you is how you choose to rise. You have the strength within you to overcome anything. You have the power to grow through every challenge. You are more resilient than you realize. So, as you move forward, choose resilience, choose strength, choose to stand tall in the face of adversity and say, I will not be defeated. I will keep going. I will rise again. Because no matter what happens, you are capable, you are powerful, and you are unstoppable. Good evening, everyone. There comes a time in every life when the wind howls, the sky darkens, and the road turns rough beneath our weary feet. The weak will stumble, the faint-hearted will retreat. But you, my dear, you were not built to break. You were not fashioned from fragility. No, you are the child of resilience, the keeper of fire, the maker of mountains. Oh, life will test you. It will press its heavy hand upon your spirit and whisper, give up now. But you must stand tall. You must plant your feet deep into the ground of your own unshakable will. You must look life square in the face and say, I am not afraid of storms, for I am the storm. Mental toughness is not given, it is forged. It is built in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It is carved from the stone of struggle, chiseled by the hands of hardship. It is the voice inside you that says, keep going, when every bone in your body pleads for rest. It is the light in your eyes that refuses to be dimmed, no matter how long the night lasts. There is a weight that presses against the soul when trials come knocking, a force that bends the spirit and tests the limits of the heart. It is in these moments, when the road is steep, when the body aches, when the mind wavers, that true strength is born. Not in comfort, not in ease, not in days of smooth sailing. Strength is not gifted, it is earned. It is built in the furnace of adversity, in the fire of struggle, in the depths of hardship where most would rather turn away. And yet you must not turn away. You must not shrink before the weight of your challenges. The world will tell you that struggle is something to be avoided, something to be feared, something that marks failure. But listen, struggle is not your enemy. Struggle is your teacher. Struggle is the hands of the universe shaping you into something unbreakable. Look at the strongest, the most unyielding forces of nature. The mountain does not rise without the pressure of the earth shifting beneath it. The diamond does not shine without enduring the crushing weight of time and heat. The tree does not root itself deep into the soil without first withstanding the winds that threaten to uproot it. You too are being shaped. Every hardship, every setback, every moment of doubt, it is all carving you into something greater, something mightier than you ever imagined. There will be times when you feel like the fight is too much, when exhaustion sits heavy on your shoulders, when giving up seems easier than pressing forward. But hear me, this is where the magic happens. This is where you find what you are truly made of. This is where you find what you are truly made of. It is in the moments when your legs tremble, but you take another step. It is in the moments when your heart aches, but you push forward anyway. It is in the moments when every voice in your head tells you to stop, but a small, fierce whisper inside you says, keep going. This world does not reward those who wait for ease, for comfort, for the perfect conditions to arrive. No, it honors those who rise in the face of difficulty, those who refuse to be defined by their struggles, but instead use them as stepping stones. It is not enough to endure, you must embrace. You must understand that every hardship is a gift wrapped in disguise, a lesson hidden within the storm. And when you emerge on the other side, stronger, wiser, bolder, you will not regret a single battle fought. Fear will try to tell you that struggle is a sign to stop, that resistance means retreat. But fear is a liar. The presence of struggle does not mean failure, it means growth. It means you are stepping into new territory, breaking old limits, stretching yourself beyond what you thought possible. And isn't that the goal? To become more than who you were yesterday, to step into the fullness of your power. Every great story, every triumph, every legend that echoes through time is built on struggle. No hero rises without a battle. No champion stands without scars. No victor claims victory without first knowing the taste of hardship. And if they could walk through the fire and emerge unburned, so can you. If they could face their trials and rise again, so can you. You may not see it now, but every struggle is shaping you into something stronger. One day you will look back at the obstacles that once seemed impossible, and you will smile, not because they were easy, but because you conquered them. And in that moment, you will understand that the struggle was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. Keep walking, keep fighting, keep becoming, because you, my dear, were made for this. There will come a day, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, when life will press its weight upon you, demanding to know just how much you can bear. It will not ask politely. It will not give warning. It will come like a storm in the dead of night, uninvited, unrelenting, testing the foundation of everything you thought you were. And in that moment, you will have a choice. You can surrender, let the wind carry you where it pleases, let the storm dictate your path, or you can stand, plant your feet firm against the earth, lift your chin to the sky and say, I will not break. Resilience is not a gift given to the lucky. It is not inherited, not granted, not something that simply appears in times of need. No, resilience is built choice by choice, moment by moment. It is the decision to rise when it would be easier to stay down. It is the decision to try again when failure has left its bitter taste in your mouth. It is the decision to believe in your strength even when the world gives you every reason to doubt it. Do not mistake resilience for the absence of pain. The strongest souls are not the ones who have never suffered, never struggled, never known hardship. No, the strongest souls are the ones who have walked through fire and refused to let the flames consume them. They have cried, but they did not stop. They have stumbled, but they did not stay down. They have been battered by the winds of life, but still they stand, and you too have that choice. Life will knock you down, that is a certainty. It will throw obstacles in your path, close doors you were certain would remain open, take from you things you thought you could not live without. But resilience whispers, get up. Resilience reminds you that you are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. You cannot always control the storm, but you can control how you stand in the rain. You can choose to cower, to curse the sky, to wish for a life free of hardship. Or you can lift your face, let the raindrops wash away the dust of yesterday, and keep moving forward. Because forward is the only way. Strength is not found in avoidance, it is found in the fight. And here's the truth. Resilience is built in the moments no one sees. In the quiet battles you fight within yourself. In the mornings you rise despite the weight of yesterday still clinging to your shoulders. In the nights you lay awake wrestling with doubt, but decide, even then, that you will not give up. It is not always grand, not always loud. Sometimes resilience is simply taking one more step when everything inside you begs to stop. Fear will try to convince you that struggle means failure, that pain means weakness, that hardship means you are not enough, but fear does not know the power inside you. Fear underestimates the fire that burns in your soul. Because resilience is not about never falling, it is about never staying down. It is about looking adversity in the face and saying, you do not own me. And when the world tries to tell you that you cannot, that you will not, that you are not strong enough, let them talk, let them doubt, let them wait and watch, and then show them what resilience looks like. Show them what it means to stand tall in the face of hardship, to keep moving forward even when the road is steep. Show them what it means to be unbreakable, because one day you will look back on this moment, this struggle, this storm, and you will see it for what it was, not your breaking point, but your making point. And you will understand that resilience was never something you lacked. It was always within you, waiting for the moment you chose to rise. So rise. Rise every time. Rise without hesitation. Rise knowing that nothing, not fear, not pain, not even failure, can keep down the one who chooses to stand. Pain will come. That is not a question, not a possibility, but a promise written into the fabric of life itself. It will arrive in different forms, some sharp and sudden, others slow and lingering, creeping into the corners of your mind when you least expect it. It will test your spirit, shake your resolve, and whisper that you are not strong enough to bear its weight. But pain is not the enemy. No, pain is the fire that forges, the sculptor that carves, the force that transforms. It is temporary, but the strength it leaves behind, that lasts. There will be days when pain feels endless, when it wraps itself around you, making every step feel heavier than the last. It may come in the form of loss, in the sting of failure, in the ache of disappointment. And in those moments, it will be easy to believe that this suffering is all there is, that it will stretch on forever. But nothing in this world lasts forever. Not the joy, not the sorrow, not even the deepest wounds. The pain you feel today will not always be with you. It will fade, it will shift, it will transform. But what will remain is the toughness you build because of it. Strength is not born from ease. It does not grow in the light of comfort or the warmth of certainty. No, true strength is forged in the fire of adversity. It is the byproduct of endurance, the gift that hardship leaves behind. And the beautiful, undeniable truth is this. Every time you face pain and refuse to let it break you, you become stronger than you were before. Every time you push through the ache, take another step, rise from the ground when you have every reason to stay down, you prove to yourself that you are built for more than suffering. You are built for overcoming. You have been hurt before. You have faced obstacles that seemed impossible to move, and yet here you stand. The pain you thought would destroy you has instead shaped you. It has made you wiser, fiercer, more resilient. It has given you a depth, a strength, a toughness that no comfort ever could. And though the road ahead may bring more pain, you now carry something that cannot be taken from you. The unshakable knowing that you can endure. That no matter what life throws your way, you will not break. Pain is a test, but it is also a teacher. It teaches you what you are capable of. It strips away the illusions of weakness and shows you the fire that has always burned within you. It teaches you that toughness is not about never feeling pain. It is about taking the lessons, the scars, the struggles, and using them as fuel. It is about taking the lessons, the scars, the struggles, and using them as fuel. Because toughness is not in the avoidance of hardship, it is in the refusal to be defeated by it. There will be voices that tell you to stop, that tell you pain is a sign to quit, but listen to me. Pain is not a stop sign, it is a doorway to strength, to resilience, to the version of yourself that is waiting on the other side. The choice is yours. You can let pain define you, keep you in place, make you afraid to try again, or you can use it, embrace it, let it sharpen you into someone who is unstoppable. And one day, when the pain has faded into memory, when the wounds have become stories, you will look back and see the truth that was always there, that the struggle was never meant to break you, that every ache, every hardship, every moment of doubt was building something within you that no one could take away. And you will stand taller, walk stronger, and know without a shadow of a doubt that toughness is not something you were given. It is something you built step by step, battle by battle, pain by pain. And when the next storm comes, and it will, you will not fear it. You will welcome it, because you will know that nothing, not even pain, has the power to stop you. The body may grow tired, the hands may shake, the legs may tremble beneath the weight of the journey, but the mind is the force that decides whether you rise or fall. It is the quiet commander, the unseen engine, the difference between victory and defeat. If you train it well, if you fortify it, if you teach it to endure, even when the body begs to stop, then nothing, no hardship, no setback, no moment of doubt can break you. But the mind does not come strong. No one is born with an unshakable will. No one wakes up one morning immune to fear, free from doubt, untouched by struggle. No, the mind is like a muscle. It must be worked, tested, pushed beyond its limits until it learns that those limits were never real to begin with. It must be trained to keep going, to silence the voices that whisper of failure, to rise even when every part of you wants to sink. And that training does not happen in the easy moments. It does not happen when the road is smooth, when the skies are clear, when success is handed to you without resistance. No. The mind is sharpened in struggle. It is built in the moments when quitting feels justified, when exhaustion seems reasonable, when the pain of continuing feels unbearable. Those are the moments that decide everything. Those are the moments when you either listen to the weakness inside you or you train yourself to push past it. Discomfort will come, and when it does, your mind will try to convince you that stopping is the only option. It will paint you pictures of ease, of rest, of relief. It will tell you that there is no shame in giving up, that you have already done enough, that maybe this dream, this goal, this fight was never meant for you. But hear me now, your mind is lying to you. The greatest deception is the one we tell ourselves when we are at our weakest. The lie that we are not strong enough, not ready enough, not capable enough, and yet we always are, we always have been. You must learn to command your thoughts before they command you. You must learn to silence the voice of fear, the voice of doubt, the voice that begs you to remain comfortable, because comfort is not your ally. Comfort does not build warriors. Comfort does not forge champions. Comfort lulls you into stillness, tricks you into believing that you have gone far enough, that you have done enough, that you are enough. But listen to me. You are not here to settle. You are not here to stop halfway. You are not here to sit idly while the fire inside you burns for more. So when the body aches, when the path ahead seems endless, when the struggle feels too great, train your mind to say, not yet. Not yet will I quit. Not yet will I surrender. Not yet will I allow pain to dictate my story. Because toughness is not in the body, it is in the mind. When the mind is strong, the body will follow. And one day, when you stand on the other side of the struggle, when you look back at the mountains you have climbed, the battles you have fought, the moments when you nearly gave up but chose instead to fight, you will realize something powerful, that it was never about the strength of your body. It was always about the power of your mind, the power to push, to endure, to believe in yourself even when the world did not. And that power once built can never be taken from you. Fear is a shadow that follows you, whispering in your ear, waiting for the moment you hesitate, the moment you doubt yourself, the moment you wonder if you are enough. It does not need chains to hold you back. It does not need walls to keep you in place. Fear works in silence, in the spaces between your thoughts, in the moments when your dreams seem too big, your strength too small, your path too uncertain. It creeps in slow and steady, convincing you that failure is inevitable, that risk is dangerous, that it is safer to stay where you are, to never reach beyond what is comfortable. But listen to me, fear is a liar. It will tell you that you are not ready, but you are. It will tell you that you do not have what it takes, but you do. It will tell you that the road ahead is too steep, too treacherous, too impossible to climb. But the only thing standing between you and the life you are meant to live is the belief that you can take the first step. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear, hearing its voice, recognizing its presence, and deciding to move forward anyway. It is understanding that fear does not predict the future. It only magnifies the unknown. It is knowing that fear is not a stop sign, not a wall, not a reason to turn back. It is simply a moment, a feeling, a test. And the test is not whether or not you feel fear. The test is whether or not you let it control you. There will be times when fear tries to take hold of you, when it grips your chest, when it fills your mind with all the reasons you should give up, turn back, stay small. It will disguise itself as reason, as logic, as practicality. It will tell you that now is not the time, that you are not the one, that maybe this dream was never meant for you. But fear is not interested in the truth. It is only interested in keeping you from stepping into the unknown. But here is the truth. Everything you want, everything you dream of, everything you are meant to be is on the other side of fear. Fear will try to keep you in the same place, but growth requires movement. It requires stepping beyond the edges of comfort, walking into the unknown, trusting that you are stronger than the doubt inside you. You have been afraid before. You have faced moments of uncertainty, moments of hesitation, moments when you question whether or not you had the strength to keep going. But you are still here. You are still standing. And every time you have pushed through fear, every time you have done the thing that scared you, every time you have silenced the doubt and moved forward anyway, you have proven to yourself that fear does not define you, you define you. Fear will always be there, lurking in the corners, waiting for its moment to rise, but so will courage. And courage is stronger. Courage is the voice that says, I am afraid, but I will not stop. Courage is the force that moves you forward when fear tries to pull you back. Courage is what separates those who dream from those who do. So do not let fear make your choices for you. Do not let it hold the pen that writes your story. A life lived in fear is a life only half lived. A life spent watching from the sidelines instead of stepping onto the field. You were not made to sit in the shadows. You were made to rise. And one day, when you look back, when you see the mountains you have climbed, the battles you have won, the fears you have conquered, you will understand something powerful, that fear was never the enemy. It was simply the test. And you, my dear, passed it every single time. The world will try to break you. That is not a threat, not a warning, but a simple truth of life. There will be days when everything you have built seems to crumble, when the path you have walked so confidently becomes uncertain beneath your feet. You will face loss, disappointment, failure, and moments that make you question why you even started. And in those moments, you will be given a choice to surrender or to rise. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is not about walking an easy road where nothing shakes you. No. Resilience is built in the breaking, in the moments when the world knocks you down and you make the decision again and again to get back up. It is the quiet strength that refuses to stay defeated, the unshakable will that says, I will not be undone by this. And yet, resilience is not loud. It does not announce itself with grand declarations. It does not need applause or recognition. It is built in silence, in the long nights when doubt creeps in the mornings when you rise despite the weight of yesterday. It is found in the deep, unwavering belief that no matter what happens, no matter how many times life tests you, you will not break beyond repair. You see, setbacks are not the end of the road. They are only detours, only lessons, only reminders that the journey is never meant to be smooth. And failure? Failure is not a final sentence. It is only a chapter, a moment. A teacher dressed in disappointment. The strongest people you know, the ones who seem unshakable, who stand tall no matter what storms come their way, are not strong because they have never fallen. They are strong because they have fallen and risen 100 times over. You must learn to trust yourself enough to keep going, to understand that resilience is not about never feeling pain, never facing hardship, never struggling. It is about knowing deep in your bones that you are capable of surviving whatever life throws at you. That even in your weakest moments, even when you doubt yourself, you are still standing. And that alone is proof of your strength. Life does not get easier. The road does not suddenly smooth out because you wish it to. But you get stronger. You learn to carry the weight with more grace. You learn that even the heaviest burdens cannot keep you down forever. You learn that the things that once seemed impossible, the moments that once felt unbearable, are now just part of your story. Proof that you have walked through fire and come out on the other side. So when life tests you, when it feels like too much, when you wonder if you can keep going, remember this. You have survived every difficult moment you have ever faced. You have endured, you have risen, and that is all the proof you need that you will do it again. And one day, when you look back at the struggles, at the moments that nearly broke you, you will see them for what they truly were. Not the things that destroyed you, but the things that made you unbreakable. There will come a moment, a defining moment, when you realize that everything you have been searching for, everything you have been waiting for has been within you all along. Not in the opinions of others, not in the validation of the world, not in the fleeting applause that comes and goes like the wind. No, the power has always been inside you, resting beneath the surface, waiting for the day you finally decide to own it. The strength is not something you find, it is something you claim. It is not given to you by anyone else, not handed down like an inheritance, not bestowed upon the chosen few. It is built, earned, discovered in the depths of your own soul when you decide that you are no longer willing to shrink, to bend, to mold yourself into something smaller just to make others comfortable. The world will tell you who to be. It will try to shape you, define you, limit you. It will place expectations on your shoulders, weigh you down with its rules, try to convince you that your worth is measured by achievements, by approval, by whether or not you fit the mold. But listen to me. There is no mold that can contain you. There is no standard that can measure the depth of who you are. And there is no power greater than the moment you decide to stop seeking permission to be yourself. Owning your strength means standing tall, even when the world does not understand you. It means walking your path with certainty, even when others question it. It means choosing to believe in yourself, not because someone else tells you to, but because you know deep in your bones that you are enough. And it is not arrogance, it is not pride, it is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, from understanding that your worth is not up for debate. It is the unshakable truth that no failure, no rejection, no moment of doubt can take away the power you carry within you. But make no mistake, owning your strength does not mean you will never feel fear. It does not mean you will never face moments of uncertainty, never hear the whispers of doubt. It means that when those moments come, you do not bow to them. You do not let them define you. You do not hand over the pen and let fear write your story, because your story is yours to tell. Your life is yours to shape. And the moment you realize that, truly realize it, is the moment everything changes. The moment you stop waiting for permission, stop asking the world to see you, stop seeking validation from people who could never understand the fire that burns inside you. You do not need the world's approval to be strong. You do not need anyone's permission to rise. You simply need to decide that you are ready to own your power, to claim the space you were meant to fill, to walk boldly in the direction of your dreams with the certainty that you are enough. And one day, when you look back, when you see the mountains you have climbed, the battles you have fought, the moments when you almost gave up but chose instead to stand tall, you will understand something undeniable. You were never powerless. You were never small. You were never less than enough. You were always strong. You just had to own it. You have walked through fire. You have faced fear. You have risen from struggle, built resilience from pain, and found courage in the moments that tried to break you. You have learned that strength is not given, it is earned. That fear is not a barrier, it is a test. That resilience is not about never falling, it is about rising again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. And now, as you stand here, as you take your next steps forward, remember this: you are unbreakable. Not because life has been easy, not because the road ahead will be smooth, but because you have already proven to yourself, to the world, that nothing can stop the one who refuses to quit. So walk boldly, own your power, trust in your strength, and when the world tests you again, as it surely will, meet it with unshakable certainty, knowing that no storm, no struggle, no setback will ever be enough to keep you from rising. Go forward with courage, with purpose, with the fire of knowing that you are limitless. Good luck on your journey, and thank you. She rises in the morning not to argue with the world, but to walk with it. She does not shout her worth, because her spirit already speaks louder than any noise could. She stands with the kind of stillness that shakes mountains, and with the kind of calm that silences storms. There is a beauty in her walk, a rhythm in her breath, a knowing in her eyes. She does not hurry to convince or to explain. She understands that peace is the crown she wears and that no one can take it from her. People may push her, question her, even doubt her, but she does not lean into the clamor. She does not waste her hours proving to those who are not ready to see. Instead, she keeps her light steady and her steps sure. Confidence is not a shout. Confidence is a quiet truth, a truth that rests easy on her shoulders and gives her strength when the night is long. True strength is found in calm, for it steadies the heart when the world trembles. Think about it for a moment. Life will always bring its waves. Some come gently, washing the shore with soft whispers, and some crash down with force, shaking everything in their way. Many people, when the storm rises, react with panic, anger, or noise, believing that by raising their voice or rushing their steps, they will gain control. But the woman who knows her worth chooses a different way. She steps into the storm with a still spirit. She does not fight the thunder with thunder. She does not try to shout louder than the rain. Instead, she becomes the calm in the center, the place where clarity lives. Calm is not passive. Calm is active strength. It is the decision not to be dragged into chaos, but to stand in the middle of it with steady breath. Calm is not born from ignorance, but from wisdom. It says, "I will not let the noise outside determine the peace inside." A woman who carries this calm becomes a source of stability for herself and for others. People may look at her and wonder why she does not react the way they expect, why she does not rush to prove herself or defend her worth. Yet her stillness holds more power than their noise ever could. When calm becomes her foundation, confidence naturally grows. For calm is the soil where confidence takes root. If she were always shaken, always disturbed by every opinion or every challenge, her confidence would wither. But because she remains centered, she can trust herself. She can say with quiet certainty, "I am enough." She does not need to fight every battle to know she has already won the greater one. Her calm whispers of her unbreakable spirit, for no storm has the power to destroy her when she refuses to be moved by its fury. There will always be those who try to pull her into arguments, those who mistake peace for weakness. They may say she does not care or that she is afraid. But she knows the truth. She knows that calm is not the absence of care. It is the presence of control. It is the decision to use energy wisely, to pour her strength into what builds her life rather than what drains it. She knows that peace is not surrender, peace is mastery. Unbreakable does not mean untouched by pain. It does not mean she never feels anger or sadness. It means that even in her moments of struggle, she guards her calm like a treasure. She does not allow life's storms to leave her shattered. She bends, she breathes, she may cry, but she does not break. For her calm is her anchor, and with that anchor, she rises again and again. Imagine standing before the world with all its questions, its criticisms, its doubts, and choosing not to prove yourself, but simply to live in calm. That is the highest form of freedom. That is the strength that cannot be taken away. Because when she rests in her calm, she no longer seeks approval. She no longer fears rejection. She simply exists in her own fullness, radiant and whole. And that radiance speaks louder than any words of defense ever could. So let the world tremble. Let the storms rise. Let the voices argue and shout. The woman who knows her worth will stand in the center, still, steady, and serene. Her calm will guide her, her confidence will sustain her, and her unbreakable spirit will carry her through. And that, my friends, is true strength. Confidence is not loud. It is the quiet certainty of knowing your worth without explanation. Many confuse confidence with noise, with the need to prove, with the display of power. But real confidence does not need to shout. It is not about taking up space with words or gestures. It is about moving with assurance that does not ask for permission and does not demand applause. A confident woman walks into a room and the room feels her presence, not because she tries to dominate it, but because she carries herself with a grace that cannot be ignored. Confidence grows when you no longer measure yourself by the opinions of others. The world will try to define you, to box you, to label you. It will tell you what you should be, how you should act, what you should achieve. But a woman who has found her calm understands that her worth is not defined by these outside voices. Her worth lives within her. It was given to her by life itself. And so she does not waste her days proving her value to those who cannot see it. She knows who she is, and that knowing becomes her shield. When she chooses peace over proving, she chooses confidence over noise. She does not run after validation. She does not beg for recognition. She lets her actions speak for her, and when she acts with quiet strength. Her words are not many, but they are rooted in truth, and truth carries its own power. People are drawn to her not because she shouts the loudest, but because her spirit is steady, her steps are firm, her voice is sincere. True confidence is not arrogance. It does not look down on others. It does not need to diminish anyone to feel tall. It stands upright in dignity and invites others to stand tall too. A confident woman inspires without forcing. She uplifts without competing. She understands that there is room for all to shine, and in her calm presence, others begin to believe in their own worth as well. This kind of confidence is unbreakable because it is not built on fragile things. It is not built on approval or attention or temporary praise. It is built on an inner foundation that no one can take away. When storms come and voices rise against her, she does not crumble. She knows that the value of her life does not rest in what others see. It rests in who she truly is. She does not have to shout her truth because her life itself becomes the evidence. Many will misunderstand this silence. They will think she should fight louder, that she should argue until she wins. But she knows better. She knows that peace is a greater victory than proving. She knows that confidence does not need to announce itself. It glows quietly, like a flame that lights everything around it without needing to roar. And that glow is more powerful, more lasting than any noise could ever be. So when she walks in calm, when she carries herself in dignity, when she rests in her unbreakable truth, she does not have to raise her voice. She does not have to chase recognition. She simply lives in the fullness of who she is. And the world cannot help but notice. The world cannot help but be moved by her stillness, her strength, her quiet confidence. That is the mark of a woman who has chosen peace over proving. That is the legacy of one who knows her worth. Unbreakable is the woman who bends with life, but never surrenders her spirit. The truth is, life has never been gentle enough to leave anyone untouched. There are storms that come without warning, losses that pierce the heart, betrayals that leave scars, and disappointments that weigh heavy on the soul. Yet the remarkable strength of a woman is seen not in avoiding these trials, but in rising through them. She bends, yes, but she does not break. She allows herself to feel the wind, to be pushed by the weight of her challenges, but she always finds her way back to standing tall. To be unbreakable does not mean she is without pain. It does not mean she never cries or feels the heaviness of life pressing against her chest. It means that her spirit is woven with threads too strong to be torn apart. Each trial she has faced has added another layer of resilience, another piece of wisdom, another measure of grace. She may bend low, but within that bending she gathers strength. She may stumble, but her fall is never final. She finds her way up again, each time standing taller than before. The world often mistakes strength for hardness, but her unbreakable nature is different. She does not need to become stone to withstand the storm. She allows herself to remain soft, compassionate, and open, even when the world has given her reasons to close off. That is the true mark of resilience. To face pain without letting it turn your heart bitter, to walk through trials without losing your gentleness. She chooses peace over proving because she knows battles are endless, and giving every ounce of energy to them will only exhaust her spirit. By choosing peace, she protects what is sacred within her. By refusing to prove, she declares she is already enough. Her calm becomes her shield, her confidence her armor, and together they make her unbreakable. She does not waste time defending her worth to those who cannot see it. She does not crumble when judged unfairly. Instead, she lifts her head with quiet assurance. She trusts that storms may bend her body, but they will never shatter her soul. Even when she feels weary, she remembers that bending is not the same as breaking. It is simply the way of survival, the way of growth. Trees bend under the wind, but their roots run deep, so it is with her. Her roots of faith, of wisdom, of self-respect hold her steady even when the surface shakes. And when she rises from her bending, she does not return unchanged. Every struggle shapes her. Every fall strengthens her. Every scar becomes a reminder that she has lived and overcome. This is what makes her unbreakable, not the absence of hardship, but the refusal to let hardship define her. She walks forward with the knowledge that peace is greater than proving, that calm is stronger than chaos, that her quiet confidence is her unshakable foundation. So do not mistake her softness for weakness. Do not think her silence means surrender. She has learned that true power does not need to shout. It only needs to endure. She bends, but she never breaks. She yields, but she never gives up. And in that balance lies her greatness, her beauty, her unbreakable truth. That is the woman who has chosen peace over proving, and nothing in this world can shatter her spirit. Choosing peace over proving is not weakness. It is wisdom that guards her soul. In a world that constantly demands explanation, where voices rise to prove worth and arguments fill the air like endless echoes, the woman who chooses peace stands apart. She does not feel the urge to step into every battle. She does not rush to defend herself before every question. She understands that not every opinion deserves an answer. Not every doubt deserves a fight. She knows her worth, and that knowledge frees her from the endless chase of validation. Peace is not the easy path. It takes strength to stay calm when you are misunderstood. It takes courage to remain steady when people misjudge you. The temptation to shout back, to prove your strength, to silence every critic is real. But she knows that those battles never end. There will always be another voice, another doubt, another demand. So instead of exhausting her spirit in the noise, she chooses silence that holds more weight than 1,000 arguments. Her peace speaks on her behalf. When she walks in peace, she keeps her dignity intact. She refuses to let the world drag her into chaos. She refuses to let anger steal her grace. She understands that her energy is sacred, and she will not waste it on proving to those who are unwilling to see. Some may call it weakness, but in truth, it is wisdom. It takes more power to walk away from conflict than to dive into it. It takes greater strength to let go of the need to prove and to rest instead in the quiet confidence of self-awareness. This choice of peace shields her. It becomes a guard around her heart. It protects her from bitterness and resentment. Without the need to prove, she is free from the burden of comparison. Without the endless struggle to be seen, she finds freedom in simply being. She carries herself with a calm that cannot be shaken by opinion, a calm that reflects her deep trust in who she is. And in that calm, her unbreakable spirit shines through. For no amount of doubt can damage a woman who has stopped playing the game of proving. No criticism can break her when she has already chosen peace. She has discovered that her life is not a debate to be won, but a truth to be lived. She does not prove, she demonstrates. She does not argue, she embodies. Her choices, her actions, her quiet strength become the answer to every question, whether the world acknowledges it or not. Peace is her higher ground. It is her declaration that she will not lower herself into battles that serve no purpose. It is her wisdom that whispers, "Not every fight is worthy of me." It is her courage that says, "I will not waste my spirit proving what is already true." And in that decision, she gains power the world cannot take away. The woman who chooses peace over proving has found her calm. She walks in her confidence, and she stands unbreakable. She knows that silence can roar louder than anger, and that stillness can defeat storms. Her wisdom is her crown, her peace is her shield, and her life itself becomes her greatest proof. That is why she is never weak when she chooses peace. She is simply wise enough to know that peace is the greater victory. She does not chase validation. She carries her own crown of dignity. The world has taught too many women to run after approval, to stretch themselves thin just to be seen, to perform endlessly so that someone somewhere may finally say, "You are enough." But the woman who has found her calm refuses to live that way. She has discovered that dignity is not something the world can hand her. It is something she must claim for herself. She wears it not as a borrowed ornament, but as a crown that cannot be removed, because it comes from within. Validation is fleeting. One day people may cheer for you, the next day they may forget your name. One day they may praise your strength, the next day they may question your choices. If her worth rested on their shifting voices, she would be tossed about like a ship without an anchor. But she has chosen a different foundation. She rests her life on truth, on calm, on a confidence that does not need permission to exist. That is why she does not chase validation, because she already walks with something far greater. Her dignity is her crown. It is not loud, it is not heavy, but it is radiant. It shines in the way she carries herself, in the way she speaks with kindness without lowering her tone, in the way she stands firm without needing to belittle others. Dignity does not demand attention, it draws it naturally. People recognize it not because she insists on being seen, but because the light of her inner strength cannot be hidden. When a woman chases validation, she often loses pieces of herself along the way. She bends her values, she silences her truth, she reshapes herself to fit into the mold of someone else's approval. But when she chooses dignity, she chooses freedom. She no longer shapes herself to please anyone's expectations. She stands in her authenticity, whether the world applauds or not. And that authenticity becomes her unbreakable power. Carrying her crown of dignity means she does not argue for her worth. She does not seek to prove she belongs. She does not let rejection shake her sense of self. Her worth is not in question because she knows it as surely as she knows the breath within her. This calm knowing becomes her strength in every season, in every challenge. Even when life bends her, even when storms test her, she remembers who she is. That remembrance is her shield, her anchor, her steady ground. The beauty of her crown is that no one can take it away. Not cruelty, not criticism, not doubt, not even failure. Because dignity is not about perfection. It is about holding your head high, even when you stumble, about walking with grace, even when the path is rough. It is about never forgetting that worth does not fade when circumstances change. She wears her crown in moments of triumph and in moments of struggle because it is not tied to outcome, it is tied to her essence. And so she moves through life unshaken by the noise. She does not bow to the pressure of proving because she does not need to. Her calm carries her confidence sustains her unbreakable spirit keeps her rising. With her crown of dignity, she stands as a reminder that true power is not in chasing, but in being. That is the gift of the woman who chooses peace over proving. She does not run after validation, she already wears her crown. Her silence is not emptiness, it is a declaration stronger than noise. The world often misunderstands silence. People assume that if a woman does not argue, she has nothing to say. If she does not defend herself, she must be guilty. If she does not shout, she must be weak. But silence, in the hands of a wise woman, becomes a language of its own. It is not surrender. It is not absence. It is presence so deep that words cannot contain it. Her silence speaks of calm, of confidence, of a spirit that cannot be broken by noise. There is power in choosing not to answer every challenge. There is power in holding back words when words would only add to the chaos. Anyone can shout, anyone can argue, but not everyone can remain silent and strong at the same time. Silence requires control. It requires inner certainty. It requires knowing that the truth does not need constant defense to remain true. And this woman knows it. That is why her silence is not emptiness. It is fullness expressed without sound. Her silence is the ground where her dignity stands. She does not waste her voice on arguments that lead nowhere. She does not empty herself by trying to convince those who are blind to her worth. Instead, she chooses stillness, and that stillness becomes louder than any defense. In her quiet, there is a message: I know who I am, and I do not need to prove it to you. Those who truly see will recognize it. Those who do not are not her concern. Silence also guards her peace. When she refuses to fight every battle, she protects her soul from being drained. Noise demands energy, but peace restores it. By choosing silence, she keeps her heart steady. By stepping away from the constant need to prove, she stays rooted in her calm. This is how she walks with confidence, because she is not swayed by every passing word. She listens, she observes, she understands, but she does not let the noise dictate her spirit. And in this silence, her unbreakable spirit is revealed. For silence in the face of challenge is not weakness, it is strength under control. She has the power to argue, but she chooses not to. She has the words to fight, but she decides they are not worth her breath. That restraint is power. That choice is wisdom, and that wisdom makes her unshakable. The world may not always understand her. People may say she should fight harder, speak louder, prove more. But she does not live by their demands. She knows that battles fought in noise often leave behind emptiness. She knows that true victories are often quiet, unnoticed by the crowd, but deeply felt within the soul. She wins not by shouting, but by rising above the need to shout at all. Her silence becomes her song. Her calm becomes her armor, her presence becomes her proof. So let the noise rage around her. Let the voices demand explanations. She will remain steady in her silence, because her silence is not emptiness. It is strength, it is wisdom. It is the quiet declaration of a woman who has chosen peace over proving, and in that choice, she becomes truly unbreakable. A woman who chooses peace writes her legacy in grace, not in arguments. There is a difference between living to be remembered and living to be noticed. Arguments may catch attention for a moment, but they fade like smoke in the wind. Grace, on the other hand, lingers long after words are forgotten. It leaves traces in hearts, it shapes memories, it builds a legacy that no noise can erase. The woman who carries her calm, who walks in quiet confidence, who holds an unbreakable spirit, understands this truth. She knows that her life will not be measured by the battles she won in words, but by the peace she carried into every room, by the dignity she upheld in every season. When she chooses peace, she is not choosing the easier way. She is choosing the higher way. It is easy to argue, to fight back, to drown in the need to prove. But it takes courage to step aside from that cycle and decide that her energy will be spent on building, not battling. Grace is the mark she leaves on the world. Grace in the way she treats others, even when they misunderstand her. Grace in the way she holds her head high, even when voices rise against her. Grace in the way she chooses compassion over competition, dignity over defense, wisdom over noise. Arguments may feed the ego, but grace feeds the soul. Arguments may win a moment, but grace wins a lifetime. This woman has learned that her worth is not confirmed by defeating others in words, but by living a life that speaks louder than any argument ever could. Her calm presence becomes her answer. Her confidence becomes her response. Her unbreakable strength becomes her proof. In writing her legacy with grace, she also frees herself. She no longer carries the burden of being understood by everyone. She no longer wastes her light trying to brighten spaces that refuse to see. She simply shines, and those who are ready will feel her warmth. This is the wisdom of peace. It allows her to live fully without being drained by endless battles. It allows her to give her best to what truly matters: love, purpose, growth, and the quiet joy of knowing she has remained true to herself. Her grace also shapes those around her. People watch her and learn that dignity is greater than dominance. that silence can carry more weight than arguments, that peace can leave a deeper mark than victory. She becomes a living example that strength does not need to shout, that calm can steady storms, that confidence can be carried without arrogance. This is the legacy she writes, not on paper, not in records, but in the lives she touches, in the memories she leaves, in the hearts she inspires. Her unbreakable spirit is not seen in how many times she proved her worth, but in how many times she chose peace instead. It is not measured in arguments won, but in grace given, and that grace makes her eternal in ways that applause never could. For applause fades, but dignity endures. Arguments are forgotten, but grace is remembered. She walks with this understanding, and it frees her to live not for the moment, but for the lasting. So the woman who chooses peace over proving does more than live well. She writes her legacy in grace. She chooses calm over chaos, confidence over noise, and unbreakable strength over fragile battles. And when her story is remembered, it will not be the arguments that define her. It will be the peace she carried, the grace she gave, and the unshakable truth that she never needed to prove who she already was. So when we look at the calm, the confidence, and the unbreakable spirit of a woman who chooses peace over proving, we see a truth far greater than any argument could hold. She reminds us that strength is not in the noise, but in the stillness, not in the fight, but in the wisdom to rise above it. Her life teaches us that dignity is her crown, silence is her declaration, and grace is her legacy. And if we learn to walk in that same peace, we too will find ourselves free, unshaken, and unbreakable. I wish you the courage to carry your calm, the confidence to know your worth, and the wisdom to choose peace over proving. May your journey be filled with dignity, grace, and strength that cannot be broken. Good luck to you, and thank you. My dear friends, there is something powerful in knowing that the person you are today is worthy of a smile and a song. Something mighty happens when you decide to love yourself, not only when you are polished and shining, but also when you are scattered and unsure. Too often we wait until the table is set and the candles are lit before we let joy into our hearts. But hear me now. Joy does not only belong to the neat and the tidy. Joy belongs to the crooked lines and the spilled ink. Joy belongs to the tears that never made it into words and the laughter that came at the wrong time. You are not only your highest moments, you are the broken nights. You are the mornings when the bed held you hostage. You are the days when your voice trembled yet still carried a truth. Do not throw those parts away. Do not hide them as though they are shame. Those are the places where your strength was born. Those are the moments when life tested your spirit and you kept on breathing anyway. That is victory. That is survival. That is you. Some people will try to tell you to put the best version forward. They will want your steps even and your words smooth. But you know better. You know that your story is richer than perfection. Your song has notes that are high and notes that are low. If you cut the melody short, you lose the beauty of the whole song. Do not be afraid of your mess. Do not be afraid of your scars. They are the evidence that you walked through fire and came out still standing. Every version of you carries a lesson that shaped your strength. Sometimes we forget this simple truth because we measure ourselves against an image of perfection, against a dream of who we think we should be. But life is not only built in those shining moments when everything looks clean and presentable. Life is carved and etched in the rough edges, in the times when you stumbled, in the moments when you did not know how you would continue. Each version of you has brought with it a gift, and though the gift may have come wrapped in pain or confusion, it still made you stronger than you were before. Think back to the moments when you doubted yourself. Think of the nights when you questioned your place in this world. At the time, it may have felt like a burden too heavy to carry. Yet here you are, standing beyond those nights, breathing deeper than you did before, because even in the shadows, you found the courage to rise. That version of you, The one who did not have all the answers still carried a lesson forward. It whispered to you that you could withstand difficulty, that you could bend without breaking, that you could step into the unknown and still keep moving. That lesson became a part of your strength. We are often tempted to dismiss the past selves that make us feel uncomfortable. We hide the messy chapters as though they do not belong to our story. But if you were to tear out those pages, your story would lose its heart. The mistakes, the setbacks, the awkward beginnings are all teachers. They carved patience into you. They carved humility into you. They carved compassion into you. If you only celebrated the polished version of yourself, you would miss the miracle that lives in the cracks. It is there, in the imperfect spaces where your true character was built. Every version of you deserves recognition, because each one has contributed to the person you are today. The child version of you who dreamed boldly even when the world told you to be quiet taught you courage. The younger version of you who stumbled into wrong choices showed you the importance of direction and clarity. The version of you that faced heartbreak revealed how deeply you can love and how deeply you can heal. The version of you that was tired but kept showing up proved that endurance flows in your veins. Every version matters, none wasted. Strength is not a sudden gift. It is not something you wake up with one day. Strength is a thread woven from every season of your life. When you faced loss and still chose to hope, another thread was woven. When you fell but still reached for tomorrow, another thread was added. When you doubted but still whispered yes to life, another thread joined. These threads form the fabric of your being, and it is because of every version of you, both the shining and the messy, that this fabric holds so firm today. You must learn to bow to yourself in gratitude. Bow to the parts of you that survived when no one knew the weight you carried. Bow to the parts of you that dared to speak when your voice trembled. Bow to the parts of you that forgave, that endured, that dreamed again even after being shattered. Those versions of you carried lessons that shaped your strength, lessons that you cannot find in any book or lecture, but only in the living of your own life. When you stand here today, do not forget the journey behind you. Do not forget that the stronger self you see in the mirror is the result of every weaker self that refused to quit. So when you look back at yourself, even the messy one, smile and say thank you, because that version too carried you forward. The messy parts of your journey hold the beauty of resilience. We often look at our mistakes, our failures, and our broken moments with regret as if they are stains that make us less worthy. But what if we look closer? What if instead of shame, we saw the hidden strength that was born in those very places? The truth is, resilience is not grown in ease. It is not built in the seasons where everything is smooth and shining. Resilience is carved out of the chaos, shaped in the moments when life was unpredictable, when you did not have control and yet you endured. The beauty of resilience is that it teaches you who you are beyond your circumstances, and you would not have learned that without the mess. Think about the times when you felt broken. You may have cried, you may have questioned, you may have doubted everything about yourself. Yet those times carried within them a strange power. They stretched you beyond the limits you thought you had. They taught you to find another way when the path was blocked. They taught you to rise even when everything inside wanted to fall. The mess did not destroy you. It uncovered your resilience. That is the beauty when you see yourself surviving what you thought you could not, when you feel your spirit bend but not break, when you stand again even though your knees were trembling. Messiness often makes us uncomfortable because it looks like failure. But resilience changes how we see it. That difficult chapter in your life may have been painful, but it left you wiser. That mistake may have been heavy, but it left you humbler. That setback may have slowed you down, but it prepared you with patience you did not know you needed. The messy parts are not wasted. They carry the lessons that strength alone could not teach you. They carry the wisdom that no victory could ever give. Resilience is not about being untouched by the storm. It is about being tossed around, drenched and exhausted, yet still finding your way back to the shore. It is about realizing that even when life stripped you of certainty, you still carried within you the power to begin again. That power is the beauty hidden in the mess. Without the storm, you might never have known you could swim. Without the fall, you might never have discovered how high you could climb back. The messy parts also connect you to others in ways perfection never could. When you have been through the fire, you recognize the flames in someone else's eyes. You feel their struggle as your own. You carry compassion because you know what it is to break and to heal. Resilience born from your mess becomes a light for someone still in the dark. Your scars tell them that survival is possible, that beauty can grow from ashes. That is why the messy chapters are not something to hide. They are bridges of connection, reminders that we are all human, all carrying our own storms, all learning to rise. There is also a strange kind of freedom in accepting your messy parts. You no longer have to wear a mask of perfection. You no longer need to prove that your journey was flawless. You can stand boldly and say, yes, I was broken there. Yes, I stumbled there. Yes, I lost my way there, and yet here I am. That honesty is not weakness. It is resilience shining through you. It is proof that your worth was never dependent on keeping everything in place, but on continuing even when it all fell apart. So when you look at your life and see the cracks, do not cover them with shame. Look at them as windows where resilience grew. Look at them as places where you discovered your courage, your endurance, your unshakable spirit. They are not blemishes, they are the artwork of your survival. Every messy part carries its own beauty because it carried you into strength. And when you celebrate that, you celebrate the truest, most resilient version of you. That is why the messy parts of your journey are not your downfall, they are your making. Perfection is not the measure of worth, authenticity is. So many of us spend years chasing after an image of flawlessness, hoping that if we can just smooth out every rough edge, we will finally be enough. We think that if we always say the right words, always look the right way, always meet every expectation, then maybe the world will accept us. But what we do not realize is that this endless pursuit of perfection steals our joy. It leaves us exhausted, trying to be a polished version of ourselves that does not even exist. True worth is not found in that mask. True worth is found in authenticity, in daring to stand as you are, with all your strength and all your mess, and still saying, I am worthy. When you walk in authenticity, you free yourself from the weight of comparison. You no longer measure your steps against someone else's path. You no longer hold your story up against the highlight reels of others. Instead, you own your truth. You embrace your imperfections as part of your uniqueness. What makes you valuable is not how well you hide your scars, but how honestly you live with them. People may admire your perfection, but they connect with your authenticity. They feel your humanity in the way you admit to struggles, in the way you laugh at your mistakes, in the way you continue moving even without having it all together. Perfection is a moving target. Even when you reach one level, there will always be another expectation waiting. But authenticity stays. It does not shift with the wind. It is steady because it is rooted in who you truly are, not in who the world demands you to be. That is why authenticity is the real measure of worth. It cannot be taken from you. It cannot be broken by failure. It cannot be diminished by criticism. When you are authentic, you walk in a power that no applause and no rejection can define. The world may try to tell you otherwise. It may try to convince you that only the best version deserves love, only the perfect moments are worth celebrating. But think of the people you admire most. It is not their polished smiles that inspire you. It is their courage to keep going when life was messy. It is their willingness to share their truth even when it was not beautiful. It is their authenticity that stirs your spirit, because authenticity is where the soul shines brightest. There is also a deep peace that comes with authenticity. When you stop trying to meet impossible standards, you breathe easier. You find rest in being enough as you are. You begin to realize that self-acceptance is not about settling. It is about seeing your full humanity and honoring it. You can still grow, you can still improve, but you no longer have to hate yourself in the process. You can celebrate every stage of becoming because worth is not at the finish line. Worth is present at every step. Perfection seeks to impress. Authenticity seeks to express. And when you live to express the truth of your being, you live in freedom. You no longer hide the messy chapters of your journey. You honor them as parts of your story. You no longer pretend to be unbreakable. You show the cracks and let others see how the light gets in. That openness is not weakness, it is strength. It takes courage to be seen fully, with all your brilliance and all your flaws. And it is that courage that gives authenticity its power. So let go of the idea that you must be perfect before you are worthy of love, respect, and celebration. You are worthy now, in this very moment, with everything that makes you human. You do not need to polish yourself into a statue. You need only to stand in your truth and let your authenticity speak. Because in the end, perfection fades, but authenticity remains. That is why perfection is never the measure of worth. Authenticity is. Scars and mistakes are proof that you dared to live fully. Too often we treat our scars as secrets to be hidden and our mistakes as shameful stains to be forgotten. We wish the world could only see the polished version of us, untouched and flawless, as though that is what makes us valuable. But the truth is, a life without scars is a life that was never risked. A story without mistakes is a story that was never lived. The scratches, the breaks, the falls, they are all reminders that you stepped into life with courage, that you tried, that you reached, that you chose movement over silence. They are not symbols of weakness. They are evidence of strength. Every scar you carry speaks. It whispers of the night you thought you would never make it through, but did. It tells of the heartbreak that tore you apart, but could not keep you from loving again. It holds the memory of the time you failed, but found your way back to the path. Each mark is a chapter, and together they form the proof that you did not live in fear, that you did not stand still while life passed you by. Mistakes and scars do not lower your worth. They enrich it because they remind you and others that you are real, that you are human, and that you are brave enough to walk through the fire. We live in a world that glorifies perfection. It celebrates those who appear unshaken, those who never slip, those who wear smiles without cracks. But perfection is not relatable. It does not inspire. What truly stirs the heart is authenticity. And authenticity often shows up in the form of scars. When someone shares their brokenness and the lessons that grew from it, we lean in. We recognize ourselves in them. We feel connected because their scars echo our own. That connection is what brings healing, both to the one who shares and to the one who listens. Mistakes, too, have their purpose. They teach us lessons that no smooth road ever could. The wrong turn teaches you the importance of direction. The failed attempt teaches you the value of persistence. The poor decision teaches you the necessity of wisdom. Without mistakes, there would be no growth. Without growth, there would be no depth. And without depth, there would be no resilience. Every mistake you have made added to the depth of your being, chiseling you into someone wiser, stronger, more compassionate than you were before. Think of the times you tried and failed. In those moments, you may have felt broken, embarrassed, even hopeless. Yet today, you carry inside you the strength that was born there. You learned how to begin again, how to stand up after falling. You discovered that failure is not an end, but a passage to growth. And though you may still feel the sting of those moments, the truth is they shaped your becoming. Without them, you would not be the person you are now. Scars are not ugly. They are beautiful reminders that you healed. They are signs that you endured pain and still kept living. They are proof that nothing, no wound, no fall, no mistake could erase your spirit. You survived. And not only did you survive, but you grew. That is what makes scars precious. They carry the memory of your survival and the triumph of your spirit. So instead of hiding your scars or burying your mistakes, celebrate them. They are not the things that make you less. They are the very things that make you more. They are the signs that you had the courage to live fully, to risk, to love, to try, to stumble, to rise. And if you have scars today, be proud. If you have mistakes in your past, be grateful. They were the stepping stones that led you here. That is why scars and mistakes are not shame. They are proof that you dared to live fully. Self-acceptance in every season is the root of true freedom. Life moves through seasons just as nature does. There are times of growth when everything in you blooms and you feel alive with possibility. There are times of stillness when nothing seems to move and you feel stuck in waiting. There are times of loss when the branches of your soul feel bare and empty. And there are times of harvest when you gather the fruits of your labor. Yet through all these seasons, one truth remains: you are worthy in every single one. To accept yourself only when you are at your best is not acceptance at all. True freedom comes when you honor yourself in every stage, not demanding perfection before you can love who you are. Self-acceptance is not about ignoring flaws or pretending struggles do not exist. It is about looking at yourself honestly and still saying, I belong to me. It is about choosing to love the version of you that is learning as much as the version of you that is succeeding. Too many people postpone their worth until they become who they imagine they should be. They say, I will love myself when I lose the weight, when I achieve the goal, when I am no longer broken. But freedom cannot be found in conditions. Freedom blooms when you stop postponing love for yourself and choose to offer it now, in this very moment, with all your imperfections still showing. When you accept yourself in every season, you release the heavy chains of comparison. You stop measuring your pace against someone else's timeline. You stop asking why their branches are heavy with fruit while yours are just beginning to bud. You realize that your season is your own, and it is no less worthy than another. The winter of your life is not a failure compared to someone else's summer. The fall of your life is not less beautiful than their spring. Every season holds its purpose, and so does every version of you. Freedom also comes in knowing that growth is not always visible. Sometimes the work is happening underground, like roots deepening before a tree can rise higher. In those quiet, messy seasons when you feel like nothing is changing, self-acceptance reminds you that your worth is not lost. You are still whole even while you are waiting. You are still worthy even while you are healing. That is the power of embracing every season. You give yourself permission to be enough in every stage of becoming. There is courage in standing before the mirror on your hardest days and refusing to speak words of hate to yourself. There is bravery in saying, I am worthy, even though I feel broken. There is strength in whispering, I accept you, to the version of yourself who failed, who fell, who doubted, who did not look like the picture you wanted. That kind of acceptance is not weakness. It is the deepest act of strength. It means you no longer abandon yourself when life gets difficult. It means you carry yourself with compassion, the way you would a friend through every storm. Self-acceptance also opens the door to growth. When you stop criticizing yourself for not being enough, you create the space to become more. Growth does not come from shame. Growth comes from patience, from kindness, from believing that you are worthy of better without demanding that you already be perfect. By loving yourself in the middle of the mess, you give yourself the strength to keep moving toward the light. Every season of your life is part of your story. None of it is wasted. None of it makes you less. To deny any part of yourself is to cut away a piece of your wholeness. But when you accept it all, the blooming and the barren, the joyful and the painful, you step into freedom. You are no longer trapped by the illusion of perfection. You are free to live fully, love deeply, and grow endlessly. That is why self-acceptance in every season is the root of true freedom. Growth is born from both victories and struggles. It is easy to celebrate the days when everything goes right, when our efforts are rewarded, when our steps feel light and certain. Victories fill us with pride, and rightly so, for they are the fruit of our dedication. But the truth is, victories alone do not shape us into who we are meant to be. The deeper lessons, the ones that mold our character and stretch our spirit, are often born from the struggles we wished we could avoid. Both the wins and the wounds are necessary, for together they form the balance that builds true growth. Victories teach us the joy of possibility. They show us that our hard work matters, that our dreams are not in vain, that we can rise to meet the challenges before us. They remind us that hope is not foolish, that faith in ourselves and in life is worth holding on to. When we win, we see our potential shining back at us, and that vision fuels us to dream even bigger. Victories are the chapters we love to remember, the ones we share with wide smiles, the ones that lift our spirit high. Yet even as we celebrate them, we must not forget that they alone are not enough to build depth. Struggles, on the other hand, are the teachers that come dressed in shadows. They stretch our patience, test our endurance, and strip away our illusions. They force us to discover what lies at the core of our being. In the struggle, you cannot pretend, you cannot wear masks. You meet yourself as you truly are, your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses, but also your hidden strength, your stubborn hope, your quiet courage. Struggles carve into you a resilience that victories could never offer. They teach you that falling does not mean failing, that being delayed does not mean being denied, and that breaking does not mean being beyond repair. Think of your own journey. How many times did a struggle push you to grow in ways you never expected? Perhaps it was a heartbreak that deepened your compassion. Perhaps it was a failure that sharpened your focus. Perhaps it was a loss that taught you the value of presence. These moments are not easy, but they are necessary, for they prepare you for the victories yet to come. They shape your perspective, they strengthen your spirit, and they build in you the wisdom to carry your triumphs with grace. Growth is not a straight line. It is a rhythm of highs and lows, of shining days and stormy nights. To grow is to walk through both, to accept that you cannot have one without the other. The victories give you confidence, but the struggles give you depth. Together they create balance, reminding you that you are capable not only of achieving, but also of enduring. And endurance, more than success, is what keeps you moving forward. What makes a person truly strong is not how many times they stood on the mountaintop, but how many times they found the courage to climb again after falling into the valley. The victories may be the moments everyone sees, but the struggles are the hidden roots that keep you grounded. Without them, the tree of your life would not stand firm. Growth is not only about reaching higher, it is about rooting deeper, and the struggles ensure that your roots hold strong. When you understand this balance, you no longer fear struggle as an enemy. You see it as a companion on the journey, one that refines you even as it challenges you. You learn to embrace both, the victories that lift you up and the struggles that strengthen you within. Both are worth honoring, both are worth celebrating, because both are shaping the masterpiece of your becoming. That is why growth is born from both victories and struggles. Celebrating yourself at every stage is the highest act of love. Too often we wait until the moment feels perfect to honor who we are. We tell ourselves we will celebrate when we reach the goal, when we look the way we want, when our lives match the picture we once painted in our minds. Until then, we withhold joy as if love for ourselves is something we must earn. But real love does not wait for perfection. Real love sees value in the messy beginnings, in the slow progress, in the half-finished chapters. To celebrate yourself at every stage is to recognize that your worth is not tied to an outcome. It is already present in the simple fact that you are here, growing, learning, and living. Every stage of your journey has its own unique beauty. The beginning holds the spark of courage, the moment you decided to try even though you were uncertain. The middle holds the perseverance, the long stretch of effort when no one is clapping, but you keep going anyway. The end holds the reward, the fruits of your labor, the proof that the journey was worth it. If you only celebrate the end, you miss the richness of the entire path. Celebration belongs not just to the finish line, but to every step that carried you there. Think about how a child learns to walk. Each small wobble, each fall, each attempt is worth cheering for because it is part of the process. You would never tell a child to wait until they are running before they deserve applause. So why do we treat ourselves that way? Why do we insist that only the finished version of us is worthy of celebration? The truth is, every stage is sacred. Even the falls are evidence of courage. Even the setbacks are proof that you dared to try. Celebrating yourself along the way gives you the strength to continue, because love fuels endurance. When you celebrate yourself at every stage, you also create space for joy in the present. Too often we live in delayed, always looking ahead, always chasing what comes next. But joy is not something to postpone until conditions are perfect. Joy is something to practice right here, right now. By celebrating yourself in the middle of the mess, you teach your heart that happiness is not a destination but a way of living. You begin to carry lightness even in heavy seasons because you no longer wait for a reason to honor who you are. Celebration is also an act of gratitude. When you take a moment to honor yourself, you are saying thank you for your resilience, for your persistence, for your courage to keep going despite the odds. Gratitude transforms the way you see your journey. It turns struggles into stepping stones and mistakes into lessons. It reminds you that even in your hardest seasons, there is something worthy of recognition. And when you live with gratitude toward yourself, you walk with a confidence that does not depend on external applause. The highest act of love is not in grand gestures or distant achievements. It is in the quiet recognition of your own worth every single day. It is in choosing to clap for yourself when no one else does. It is in smiling at the mirror even when your reflection feels unfamiliar. It is in whispering words of encouragement to your own heart when doubt tries to take hold. Celebrating yourself at every stage is how you remind your soul that you are enough, not later, not someday, but now. So do not wait for the perfect moment to honor who you are. Celebrate the version of you who is still learning. Celebrate the version of you who is still healing. Celebrate the version of you who is still building, still rising, still hoping. Each one is worthy of love. Each one deserves recognition. Each one is part of your becoming. That is why celebrating yourself at every stage is the highest act of love. So as we bring these words to a close, remember this truth. Every version of you is worth honoring. The polished and the messy, the victorious and the struggling, the blooming and the broken, they all belong to the beautiful story of your becoming. Do not wait until life feels perfect to give yourself permission to be celebrated. You are already worthy, already enough, already deserving of love and light just as you are. Carry your scars with pride, walk with your authenticity, and embrace each season of your journey with gratitude. Let your victories make you joyful and let your struggles make you strong. Above all, celebrate yourself at every stage, because that celebration is the purest form of freedom and the highest act of love. I wish you strength on the days you feel weak, courage when the road feels long, and joy in every small step forward. May you never forget that you are a masterpiece in motion, and every chapter of your life is worth applause. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for sharing this moment with me. Breathe, my friends. Just breathe. The world may spin fast and loud, yet the breath remains our quiet anchor. It is the song of life itself, the steady rhythm that says you are here, you are alive, and you have another chance. When storms rage in your heart, when confusion shouts at the door of your mind, the breath is the gentle hand that takes you back home to yourself. Do not take it for granted. Let it rise with grace. Let it fall with ease. Each breath whispers you are stronger than the trouble that tried to break you. Believe. Believe in your worth. Believe in the power that lives inside you. People may doubt you. Shadows may tell you that you are small, but you must hold a light brighter than their doubt. You must tell yourself that your life carries weight, that your voice has value, that your steps make a path only you can walk. Belief is the seed that grows into courage. Belief is the bridge that carries you across rivers of fear. And belief does not come wrapped in gold. It is not given by the crowd. It is born when you decide that your soul is not for sale, your dreams are not too distant, and your heart is not too weak. Your breath is the anchor that steadies the storm within. Think about that for a moment. The storm is not always outside. It is not always in the noise of the world. not always in the chaos of the streets or the demands of work. Sometimes the storm rages inside us. It swirls in the mind with restless thoughts. It beats against the chest with fear. It drains the body with worry. Yet the breath stands like a strong tree rooted deep in the ground. It does not run from the storm. It does not shout at the storm. It simply holds firm and reminds us that stillness can live even in the midst of movement. Every time you breathe with awareness, you claim back a piece of peace. Each inhale draws in strength. Each exhale releases a weight you no longer need to carry. When the world feels too heavy, when voices press against you and choices confuse you, you can return to that steady rhythm. Breathing is the most natural act, yet it becomes the most powerful practice when you use it with intention. It whispers to the body that it is safe, it assures the mind that clarity will return, and it tells the heart that it can open again even after being burdened. We live in times where speed is worshipped. The faster you move, the more value people seem to place on you. But what use is speed if you are running in circles lost within your own storm? What use is endless motion if it leaves you empty and weary? The breath teaches us that slowing down is not weakness. It is wisdom. It says pause, and in that pause you rediscover your strength. It says be still, and in that stillness you hear your own soul. The storms will not always wait for calm days to pass. They will come when you least expect them. They will arrive in the middle of your joy, in the heart of your work, in the quiet of your rest. But your breath is always with you. No matter where you are, no matter what you face, you carry this anchor inside. It is a gift that costs nothing, a tool that needs no training, a friend that never leaves. It is the bridge between body and spirit, between thought and action. When fear rises, the breath grounds you. When anger sparks, the breath cools you. When sadness lingers, the breath comforts you. It is not about ignoring the storm. It is about finding a place within yourself that cannot be shaken. Breath does not erase struggle, but it steadies you long enough to remember that struggle will pass. Breath does not remove pain, but it gives you space to carry pain with dignity until healing comes. To live with less stress, you must return to the breath as often as you can. You must allow it to be your reminder that nothing controls you more than you allow it to. Stress thrives on chaos. It feeds on hurried thoughts and restless actions. But stress cannot survive in the calm rhythm of conscious breathing. It weakens when you slow down. It loses its grip when you find your center. So, my friends, do not overlook the power of something so simple. Do not let the storms of life convince you that you are helpless. Your breath is proof that life flows within you. Your breath is proof that you can hold steady no matter how fierce the winds may blow. Anchor yourself in it, return to it again and again, and let it guide you toward the balance and belief that will carry you further than fear ever could. That is the beginning of a stress-free life, the simple act of breathing with awareness and strength. Belief in yourself creates the foundation for every victory. Without it, even the smallest step feels heavy. Even the brightest opportunity feels out of reach. Life will test you, no doubt about it. You will hear voices that say you are not enough, that you do not belong, that the dream you hold is too big for someone like you. But belief is the voice that answers back with calm certainty, saying, yes, you can, yes, you do, yes, you will. Belief is not about being loud or proud. It is about being rooted. It is about standing in the quiet confidence that no matter what rises against you, you are built with the strength to rise higher. Think of a house without a foundation. The walls may be strong, the roof may be beautiful, but one shake of the earth and it all collapses. Belief is that foundation in your life. It does not stop the storms, but it keeps you standing when the storms pass through. Belief gives you a reason to keep moving forward when the road stretches long. It gives you courage to keep trying after failure. It gives you light when the path looks dark. Without belief, victories slip through your fingers because you cannot see yourself holding them. With belief, victories find a home in your hands because you already claimed them in your heart. Belief is not given to you by others. People may encourage you, they may cheer for you, but if you do not believe in yourself, their words will fall flat. True belief grows from within. It is the daily choice to honor your own voice, to trust your own journey, to value your own worth. It is not about arrogance, it is about respect. Respect for the soul that has carried you this far, respect for the lessons that have shaped you, respect for the dreams that are planted in you. There will be days when belief feels small, when doubt screams louder than truth. That is when you must remind yourself of what you have already overcome. Remember the nights you thought you would not make it but did. Remember the burdens you thought were too heavy but carried. Remember the times when fear said stop, but you kept going. Every moment of survival, every step of progress is evidence that you are stronger than you once believed. Gather those memories and let them become bricks in the foundation of your belief. Stress often grows from a lack of belief. When you doubt yourself, every challenge looks larger, every mistake looks final, every delay looks like defeat. But belief changes the way you see struggle. It says this challenge is not here to crush me, it is here to teach me. This mistake is not the end, it is a lesson. This delay is not denial, it is direction. Belief lifts the weight of stress because it reminds you that nothing is wasted, nothing is final, nothing is impossible. When you breathe with intention, you calm the storm. When you believe with intention, you ignite the fire. Breath steadies you, belief fuels you. They work together like two wings of the same bird, lifting you above fear, above stress, above the noise of doubt. Without belief, you remain grounded, wishing for flight. With belief, you spread your wings and trust that the air will hold you. Balance enters here as well. Belief must be steady, not reckless. True belief does not ignore reality, it works with it. It does not say life will be easy, it says life will be worth it. Balance keeps belief from turning into pride, and breath keeps belief from turning into panic. Together they make you whole, they make you strong, they make you free. So hold belief close. Let it be the quiet strength that carries you when the world feels heavy. Let it be the light that guides you when the way is unclear. Let it be the song that reminds you of who you are and what you can become. For when you believe in yourself, victories no longer feel distant. They begin right where you stand. That is how belief becomes the foundation for every victory you are meant to claim. Balance is the quiet strength that keeps peace alive in chaos. It is not about removing the noise of the world. It is about carrying yourself with harmony even when the noise surrounds you. Life has a way of pulling us in different directions. Responsibilities rise from every side. Voices call for our attention, and the weight of expectation presses against our shoulders. If we are not careful, we lean too far to one side and lose the calm we need to stand tall. Balance is the art of returning to center, of finding that middle ground where you are neither consumed by the rush of tomorrow nor trapped in the pain of yesterday. Balance does not ask you to be perfect. It does not demand that you erase every struggle or silence every doubt. It only asks you to honor both light and shadow, joy and sorrow, work and rest. It is the wisdom to know that everything has its place, and peace is not found in running to extremes, but in standing in the middle with grace. When you rise too high on ambition without pausing for rest, stress eats away at your joy. When you rest too long without moving toward your purpose, life begins to feel heavy and empty. Balance whispers to you when it is time to push forward and when it is time to step back. You see, balance is a choice. It is not something that simply happens when life slows down, because life rarely slows down. Balance must be created in the middle of the rush. It is created when you take a breath before you react, when you believe in yourself instead of comparing yourself, when you give attention to what matters most and release what does not. The world will always ask more of you, but you must decide how much of yourself you are willing to give without losing the calm inside. Stress often grows when we lean too far into one area and neglect another. You give your all to work but forget to care for your spirit. You pour yourself into others but leave nothing for yourself. You chase goals but lose sight of your health. That is when the imbalance begins to break you down piece by piece. Balance reminds you that you cannot pour from an empty cup. It tells you that rest is not laziness, it is renewal. It tells you that joy is not a distraction, it is strength. It tells you that caring for yourself is not selfish. It is necessary for you to keep giving your best. When balance guides your steps, stress has little room to take root. Breath keeps you calm, belief keeps you strong, but balance keeps you steady. It allows you to walk through challenges without being consumed by them. It allows you to celebrate victories without being blinded by them. It allows you to carry responsibilities without letting them crush you. Balance is not about doing everything equally. It is about doing what is needed for the moment while holding on to your peace. Think of balance like a dance. Sometimes the music is fast and you must move quickly. Sometimes the music slows and you must move gently. If you try to force the wrong rhythm, you stumble. But when you listen and adjust, you flow with grace. Life is much the same. Balance is listening to the rhythm of your own spirit, adjusting when needed, and allowing yourself to move without losing your center. The breath teaches you to pause, belief teaches you to trust, and balance teaches you to live in harmony. Together they form a circle of peace, each one feeding the other, each one guiding you toward a stress-free life. Balance is not the absence of chaos, it is the presence of calm within it. And when you carry that calm, you discover that peace is not something to be found outside, but something to be built within. That is how balance becomes the quiet strength that keeps peace alive in chaos. Each breath is a reminder that life offers you another chance. It may seem like such a simple thing, so ordinary that we forget its power, but with every inhale we receive proof that we are not finished yet. The world may have tried to push you down yesterday. The weight of your mistakes may still be heavy on your shoulders. The road ahead may appear uncertain and long, but the breath that rises inside you says you are still here. It says there is still time to mend what is broken, to walk a new path, to rise from what tried to bury you. Life is not made perfect by avoiding struggle. It is made meaningful by continuing in spite of it. And every breath gives you that opportunity. Each one is a new beginning wrapped in silence. It whispers that the past is behind you and the future is yet to come. But this moment is yours to claim. It is not about erasing yesterday's pain. It is about not letting yesterday's pain erase today's hope. As long as breath fills your body, you are not out of chances. You are not finished, no matter how many endings you have faced. Stress loves to convince us that time has run out, that chances have already passed, that the mistakes we made define us forever. But the breath argues otherwise. It says you have one more step to take, one more word to speak, one more choice to make. It is a steady reminder that you are not powerless. You may not control every storm, but you control this moment, this inhale, this exhale. And from this single moment, new strength can grow. When you breathe with awareness, you are not only calming your body, you are renewing your spirit. You are telling yourself that life is still open to change. Think of how often we take the breath for granted. We rush through our days without noticing it, without giving thanks for it. Yet it is the constant gift that sustains us. It does not ask for permission, it does not demand attention, but it faithfully carries us through trial after trial. When you stop and feel it, you realize how generous life truly is. Even when you fall, even when you doubt, even when you are weary, life keeps giving you another chance through the breath you carry. And when you believe in yourself, that chance becomes even greater. Your belief shapes the way you use the breath. You can waste it on fear and worry, or you can invest it in hope and courage. You can use it to complain about the weight you carry, or you can use it to speak life into your journey. Belief and breath together remind you that each moment can be turned into a step forward. Each chance can become a new beginning. Balance joins the breath in guiding you as well. For chances do not mean running endlessly without rest. They do not mean saying yes to every demand until you collapse under the weight. Balance teaches you to take each breath with wisdom, to use each chance with care. Some chances are for moving boldly, some are for standing still, some are for letting go. Balance allows you to know the difference. It teaches you that not every door must be entered, but every breath can lead you closer to the right one. So when stress whispers that you have failed too often, remember your breath. When fear tells you that your time has run out, remember your breath. When doubt says you are not worthy of another chance, remember your breath. Because as long as it flows, the story is not over. Every inhale is an invitation to begin again. Every exhale is the release of what no longer serves you. Life has given you this gift freely, and in honoring it, you honor yourself. That is how each breath becomes a reminder that life offers you another chance. Belief is the bridge between your present struggle and your future triumph. It is what carries you from the valley of doubt to the mountain of victory. Without belief, you remain standing on the edge of possibility, staring across at your dreams, but never moving toward them. With belief, you step onto the bridge, shaky at first perhaps, but each step becomes firmer as you trust the path beneath you. Struggles will come, and they may try to break your spirit, but belief tells you that the struggle is not the end of your story. It is only the ground you must cross before reaching what you are destined for. In life, many people allow their present pain to convince them that they are finished. They stop moving, they stop hoping, they stop reaching because they think the valley is permanent. But valleys are not forever. They are places you pass through, not places you are meant to stay. Belief is the bridge that keeps you walking, that refuses to let you sit in despair, that whispers to your weary soul that tomorrow can look different if only you keep going. This bridge of belief is not built in a single day. It grows with each choice you make to trust yourself. It grows when you rise after falling, when you learn from mistakes, when you keep faith in the dark. Every time you choose belief over doubt, you add another plank to that bridge, another rope to hold it steady, another step toward the life you seek. It is a work of patience, but it is also a work of power. For no triumph is reached without crossing the span of struggle, and no struggle is crossed without the strength of belief. Stress often comes because we cannot see the other side. We are caught in the middle of the bridge, where the winds are high and the steps feel uncertain, but belief steadies us. It tells us that what we see now is not the full picture. It tells us that triumph is waiting, even if the distance looks long. Stress feeds on hopelessness, but belief feeds on possibility. It gives you the courage to take one more step when your body says no, when your mind says quit, when the world says impossible. That step, small as it may seem, is what brings you closer to the triumph ahead. Breath supports belief in this journey. When the struggle feels too heavy, the breath calms your trembling hands and racing heart. It reminds you that you are alive and capable. With every inhale, strength enters. With every exhale, fear leaves. The breath keeps you steady on the bridge while belief keeps you moving forward. Together, they make you unshakable in the face of struggle. Balance, too, has its place here. It keeps you from rushing recklessly across the bridge without wisdom, and it keeps you from turning back in fear. Balance says walk with care, but do not stop. Balance says honor your rest, but do not abandon your path. It allows belief to be not only strong, but also steady, not only bold, but also wise. Without balance, belief may burn out. With balance, belief becomes sustainable and lasting. Think of the triumphs in your life, both small and great. Did they come without struggle? Did they come without moments of doubt? Likely not. But you crossed through because belief carried you. It may have been quiet, it may have been fragile, but it was enough to move you forward. That same belief will continue to carry you through the valleys ahead because it is not a gift that runs out. It is a well that grows deeper every time you trust it. So when you find yourself standing in struggle, remember the bridge is already beneath you. The choice is whether you will move across it or turn back. If you breathe, if you believe, if you balance your steps, the triumph will be waiting. It may not come quickly. It may not come easily, but it will come. That is how belief becomes the bridge between your present struggle and your future triumph. Balance is not perfection. It is choosing harmony in daily living. Too often we imagine balance as a flawless state where everything in life moves smoothly, where every duty is met, every goal is achieved, every relationship is without conflict. But life has never promised perfection. Life is movement, it is shifting seasons, it is unexpected changes that sometimes knock us down. If we wait for perfection to feel balanced, we will spend our whole lives waiting. Balance is not about perfect control, it is about wise choices. It is about creating harmony where you stand, even when circumstances are not ideal. Harmony is not about everything being equal. It is about everything finding its proper place. Sometimes work will require more of you. Sometimes family will need more of you. Sometimes your own spirit will call for more attention. Balance means listening to those calls and responding with care. It means not losing yourself to one demand while forgetting another. It means stepping back when you feel pulled too far in one direction and leaning forward when another part of your life needs tending. This is not perfection, it is awareness. It is choosing to live with rhythm rather than with restlessness. Stress grows wild in the soil of imbalance. When we give all of ourselves to work and starve our hearts of rest, stress blooms. When we pour into others and forget to pour into ourselves, stress blooms. When we chase success at the cost of health or hold on to comfort at the cost of growth, stress blooms. But when balance is chosen, stress loses its grip. You begin to honor both action and stillness, both giving and receiving, both effort and renewal. Harmony does not erase responsibility, but it allows you to carry responsibility without being crushed. Breath becomes a tool in this practice. When life feels like it is tilting too far, the breath pulls you back to center. It steadies your mind and clears your vision so you can see where the imbalance lies. With each inhale, you remind yourself to gather strength, and with each exhale, you remind yourself to release the unnecessary weight. Balance is not only in actions, it is in awareness, and the breath brings you back to that awareness again and again. Belief also shapes balance. You must believe you are worthy of harmony, worthy of peace, worthy of living a life that honors both your dreams and your well-being. Too many people live in imbalance because they believe stress is proof of value, that exhaustion is proof of effort, that being burned out is the cost of being worthy. But belief teaches you a different truth. It teaches you that your worth is not measured by how much you can carry, but by how well you can live with what you carry. Belief gives you the courage to say no when needed, the strength to rest without guilt, and the clarity to choose harmony over endless struggle. Balance is found in the small daily choices, not in some grand arrival. It is in taking time to pause during the day instead of pushing past your breaking point. It is in giving space for laughter when life feels too serious. It is in choosing to listen more than you argue, choosing to let go more than you cling, choosing to focus on what matters instead of being consumed by what does not. These choices seem small, but together they create a life that feels whole. Perfection is an illusion that keeps us restless. Harmony is a reality that keeps us alive. When you understand this, you stop chasing what cannot be reached and start nurturing what can. Balance does not promise a life without storms, but it promises that you will not be torn apart when storms arrive. It promises that you can stand with grace in the middle of both challenge and blessing, knowing that your peace does not depend on perfection but on choice. That is how balance becomes not perfection, but harmony in daily living. The three B's together form a compass that points toward a stress-free life. Alone, each one has power. Breath steadies you, belief fuels you, balance sustains you. But when they come together, they create a full map for living with peace in a world that constantly tries to steal it away. Life is not simple. It asks us to carry burdens, to face disappointments, to walk through valleys we never chose. But when you hold the compass of these three B's, you never lose your direction. You may stumble, you may pause, you may even feel lost, but the compass is always pointing you back to peace. Breath is the first reminder on this compass. It says pause, it says be still, it says you are not defeated. Breath is the anchor, the reset, the gentle whisper that life is still in you. Without it, stress consumes you quickly. With it, you have a steady ground to stand on no matter how rough the waves become. Belief is the second point of direction. It lifts your eyes to see beyond the struggle in front of you. It tells you that storms do not last forever, that valleys are not permanent, That triumph is waiting if you keep moving. Belief is not just hope, it is conviction. It is the bridge that carries you from despair to strength, from confusion to clarity, from weakness to courage. Without belief, you may have breath, but you will lack movement. With belief, every breath becomes fuel for progress. Balance is the third point of this compass. It teaches you to move with wisdom, to walk steadily rather than recklessly. Balance protects you from being consumed by extremes. It reminds you that rest is as holy as work, that giving is as vital as receiving, that silence is as powerful as speech. Balance is the quiet rhythm that turns the chaos of life into something you can carry with dignity. Without balance, even breath and belief can burn you out. With balance, they grow into sustainable strength. Together, these three form a complete circle. Breath calms the storm within, belief carries you forward, and balance keeps you steady on the path. Stress may still come knocking, but with this compass in your hands, it will never rule your life. Stress may whisper that you are too weak, too late, too broken. But breath reminds you that you are alive, belief reminds you that you are capable, and balance reminds you that you are whole. Think of a traveler walking through an unknown land. Without a compass, the traveler wanders in circles, exhausted and anxious. With a compass, every step has meaning, every pause has purpose, every turn has direction. Life is much the same. Without these three B's, you wander in the noise of stress, pulled by fear, carried away by doubt. But with them, you are guided. You may not control the winds, but you know where your true north lies. A stress-free life is not a life without challenge. It is a life where challenges do not control you. It is a life where you can breathe through fear, believe through struggle, and balance through change. These three B's do not promise perfection, but they promise peace. And peace is greater than perfection because it allows you to live fully, to love deeply, and to rise again no matter how many times you fall. As we draw this journey to a close, remember that life's storms will come, but within you lies the power to rise above them. Breathe deeply to find your calm, believe fully to fuel your courage, and balance wisely to walk steadily through each moment. These three B's are not just words. They are a way of living, a guide to carrying yourself with strength, grace, and peace in a world that often tries to steal it away. Embrace them daily, and you will discover a life where stress loses its grip and your spirit finds freedom. May you walk forward with confidence, may your heart remain light, and may every breath, every belief, and every balanced choice lead you closer to the life you deserve. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for sharing this moment with me.